I'm Matt Vanacoro from AskAudio magazine, and today we're checking out the Yamaha Motif XF series keyboards. We're going to jump into effects mode today and look at how to utilize this awesome effects engine that's inside this keyboard in a variety of different ways. So let's get started. It's important to know that effects mode is going to respond a little differently depending on what keyboard mode you're playing in. If you're in voice mode, it's going to be a little different than if you're in performance mode, because performance mode is going to have lots of sounds, lots of voices wrapped up in it. And in song mode, you've even got access to some master effects as well. So let's just take a look at the difference here. The first thing I'll do is I'm going to open up voice mode. And I'm going to tap the voice mode button to make sure I'm there. And I'm working with this vintage suitcase piano sound. I'll tap the effect button, which is function 6 here. It'll open up the effects window. And I can see the routing capabilities on the screen in front of me as I open it up. So I'll see 2 insertion effects, and then I also have access to 2 send effects. So an insertion effect is an effect that goes in between the sound generator and the output. You stick it right in there. So you say, here's your sound, it will go through this effect and get modified and then come out. A send effect is when you have your sound and your sound is going to the output, but you're also sort of splitting off your sound and going to an effect, and that effect is going to the output as well. So you can determine how much of the sound is going to that send effect, hence how much is getting sent to the send effect. Now, if you're in performance mode and you've got multiple voices going on, so I'll just tap performance mode to open it up and show you. We'll open up the effects window. And now if you've got multiple voices going on, you don't have access to those insertion effects from here. They're still there, they're on. All of the different insertion effects for the various voices you're using are available. You just can't edit them in performance mode because you're supposed to edit them in voice mode and save that voice the way it is so that you can use it in a performance. So if I look at the routing screen, it's telling me voice insertion. It says it's letting me know that that's happening up there, and then we're moving on to the next phase of things. You'll see these send modes right there. Now, you also might notice that you don't have the option to send things from this screen. So when I looked at those effects, I first thought, well, okay, the chorus and reverb, are those actually send effects? I see the return, but I don't see where it gets sent. And then I remembered, oh, there's individual voices, and they're all individually sending to that effect. So if I wanted to do that, I'd have to get out of common edit mode and pick a part. So I'll just tap part 1 here. And then when I'm looking at the output for that part, I'll see reverb send and the chorus send, and even the dry level, how much of the just dry sound I'm getting. So you can sort of, in effect, hack your way around and even make that send almost an insert. If you put the dry level at 0, you're going to hear just the affected thing. So that's the effects in performance mode. We're going to take a look mostly at the effects in voice mode because that's where we can take a look at both styles of effects. We can look at the insert effects, edit them, and look at the send effects and edit them. So I'm going to tap the voice button, get back into voice mode, and then I'll tap this function 6 to bring up the effects window. And the first thing I see at the upper left, if I'm following this little map of these purple arrows that are routing the sound for me, showing me where the sound is going, kind of demystifying the path the sound is taking. I'll notice it starts with element out, and I see that all 8 elements are assigned to insertion A. An element is a sample layer, basically. So if you've got a grand piano, it's got 8 elements. Those are 8 different velocity layers of samples. Now, if you have a voice that has multiple things, like piano and strings, in that type of situation, you might not want both sounds going to the same insert effect. You might want to have the layers of the piano going to the first insert effect and the layers of the strings bypassing that insert effect. It's totally up to you. So for now, for this particular voice, all 8 elements are piano things. They're all elements of this electric piano. So I want all 8 going to the insert A. So if I look at insertion A, I see the sounds going from the elements right to there. I see a category of distortion, and then I see the effect amp simulator 2. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to pick the category, I'm going to change it. I'm going to tap the list button, which is this soft function 6 button here, and I'm going to change it to wah. I want to get an auto wah going, and I'll hit enter. So I'll hit my keyboard now. Kind of cool. But the wah is a little slow for me. So if I want to edit it, all I do is tap the soft function button that corresponds to Insert A. So I just put a wah on Insertion A, and now I'll open up Insertion A's screen. There's the cool little graphical representation of the pedal. What I'll do is I'll navigate with the cursor. Now, I could just pick a different preset. They have different presets for your effects, just like you're using on a computer DAW. You know, you might have a large room reverb, a small room, one with the filter on it, that kind of thing. So I could scroll through the effects, or I could also just go to the speed, use the cursor to go there, and then use the wheel to speed it up a little bit. I'm going to speed it up to a little bit above 4 hertz. Yeah. Sounds good to me. If I want to get back to that screen that shows all the interconnections, I tap this first soft function button, Connect. And the Connect is once again showing me how all the effects are connected together. So now that I've got that wah in there, I'm going to leave Insertion B, the auto pan, and then I will go now to the send effects. So they're labeled chorus and reverb, but it's important to know that they don't have to stay chorus and reverb. That's just the chorus and reverb slots. That's what they are. So if I go to this first slot, the chorus one, I see it's already set to a delay, so it's not even chorus already. I'll tap the list button, and I'm going to change it to a phaser. I want to get a phaser going. So now this time, since it's an insertion effect, it's not 100% of the sound is going to the phaser. It's only as much as I choose. Right now, if I look at the send amount for this, it's 0. So there's not anything going to the phaser. There's no phaser yet. If I change that send amount, I'll ratchet it all the way up so we can really hear it. Well, now I really hear it. And I can even see how much of the effect, the first effect slot, the send effect, the chorus, how much of that is going to the reverb effect slot as well. So some of that's even routed into the next effect. I can have it not routed at all, put it at 0, or I can have it a little bit routed. And if I want to change the volume of the effect itself, so try to imagine that this is going to a hardware unit. The send is determining how much of my keyboard is going to that hardware unit, and the return is determining how loud is that hardware unit in the mix? How much can we hear it? So I can raise it up a bit so I can really hear it. And I've got this second one set up with reverb. I already see 21. I'm at a send level of 21 for that. I can just raise it up. I don't have to change the reverb. Just give it some more reverb. And now it's a little more airy. I can raise the return of that too to hear more of the reverb effect. And there we go. If I want it to be longer, I can open up the reverb effect itself, and that's where I can get in there and adjust the room size, make it a little bigger. Wow, bigger. Adjust the reverb time, make it a little longer. Cool. And then when I'm all done, I can tap the store button and store this new awesome sound as a voice with these different effects applied to it. And it'll have everything applied to it every time I call it up. I'll save it to the user area and have this cool affected piano that I made. So that's a little overview of the effects system. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Matt Vanacoro from AskAudio magazine, here today with the Yamaha Motif XF series, and I hope you enjoyed learning about this keyboard with me today.